guys, welcome back. So for this video I thought I could do another cover, but I do a lot of those and it's not quite as common for me to sit down and talk to you, so I thought about doing that instead today. And I was thinking about things that are somewhat interesting to talk about. I've got a guitar audience mainly, and what are guitarists like? Well, they like guitars, obviously, and music. So these are 10 things that every guitarist needs. This is mainly accessory based, but these are some of the things that I've considered to be really helpful and very essential across my entire guitar journey, and these things have stayed relevant at every single step of the way. So grab yourself a cup of tea. Mine's gone cold now. Good. Just before we jump in actually, some of these might seem well obvious and an absolute no-brainer, and you may already have all of this stuff, but there may be a couple of things on this list that you didn't know about or don't have that could prove to be rather helpful, so yeah, stick around. So number one on my list is a tuner. I mean, this is an absolute crucial piece of gear for any guitarist, really, and you know, I don't know, you might be a beginner watching this and you might be super new to all of this and be like, right, okay, well, these are both tuners, but they look quite different. So this is a pedal tuner, a floor tuner. It usually runs off of like a 9-volt battery or a power supply, and this is a headstock tuner which you clip on to the end of your guitar, on your guitar headstock, and both of them do the same job. They're there to keep you in tune and tune you up. Pedal tuners are a lot more accurate and I would say a lot faster because they're kind of done on, I guess, picking up the signal through your guitar pickups, whereas headstock tuners are done more on like vibration. So they're not going to be quite as reliable as if you're kind of plugged straight into a pedal tuner. Both of these ones are by D'Addario. Pedal tuner wise, I've tried a couple in my time, and my favourite ones, obviously, the D'Addario ones. This is actually the older model. They do have a slightly newer version as well, but I love these. I've said in previous unboxings and stuff, because the display is so big. I'm really blind. I can't see a thing when I'm on stage, so I like having the display basically like right in my face so I can see exactly what I'm tuned to. And then other than this, I can also highly recommend the Boss TU3 floor tuner. That tuner is also a super reliable one, and I'm quite sure you could throw it off of a building and it would survive. It was the first guitar pedal I ever got, and that was like 10 years ago, and it's still going strong, so definitely super reliable. And as far as headstock tuners go, these are a little bit more hit and miss, I think. Completely honest, this is the best one that I've ever tried. Again, it's another D'Addario one. This is not sponsored, by the way. I do endorse them, but they're not paying me to say this or anything like that. This is a genuine opinion. And yeah, I think this is just super easy, and I also really like carrying it around as like a backup. So, you know, if you're playing a gig or anything like that, it's really great to just have this sat on your amp in case your pedal board goes down for whatever reason. Number two. Ta-da! Decent guitar picks. So again, this might seem like an absolute no-brainer, but you would be surprised at how many years I spent kind of like not really paying that much attention to what guitar picks I was using, and when I did finally start using decent guitar picks, like the wonders that it did for my playing, you really wouldn't think that it makes such a huge difference, but it does. All comes down to personal preference. So the picks that I like using, these are the Jazz 3, Dunlop Jazz 3s. These are my own custom ones. They're in the material Tortex. They also do them in nylon, which are the classic red Jazz 3 picks, which I originally kind of like started using when I was first introduced to Jazz 3s. I really like them because they're so little and they're quite nimble, and they're also quite sharp, so I just feel like you get a different level of accuracy when you're playing. I used to use these bad boys. I can't remember what thickness they are. I know they are the purple Dunlop picks. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I was a lot more clumsy in my playing. I wasn't nearly as accurate. or experienced at that point in my kind of guitar journey. But yeah, once I switched to Jazz 3s, I just found everything was so much easier. Again, because they're smaller, you're kind of closer to the strings, and I feel like you just have like way more control over what's going on. So yeah, investing in some decent guitar picks is is a really, really important thing to think about. They, come in a variety of different thicknesses. Mine are relatively thick, like they don't really bend. I remember back in the day when I was a kid playing with some picks that were so thin they would snap, which just like is so not ideal. And when you would like strum the strings, they would like bend over the strings. Yeah, it just wasn't a vibe. So yeah, I just really suggest trying out a load of different picks, finding what suits you. Again, it's kind of genre dependent as well. I would say, if you're playing really heavy chuggy metal, you're not going to want thin flimsy picks, you're going to want something a lot thicker. So yeah, getting hold of decent guitar picks is definitely a big one. Number 3 on my list is one of these bad boys. So this is a string winder and string end cutter. Essentially, this is a really, really great tool to have when you are restringing your guitar. It makes the job so much faster and so much easier. You put this around your machine head and you can wind it up rather than turning it by hand, which takes 3 years. And then obviously built into these ones, you don't get this with all of them, but with this particular one, you have the string end cutters as well, so you don't need to walk around with a separate pair of pliers to cut your strings off. This is just a small little fun accessory which just makes restringing so much easier. Oh yeah, also I forgot to mention, if you play acoustic guitar, they have this. So this is really great for popping out your bridge pins. I've done some pretty crazy stuff with trying to get bridge pins out on acoustic guitars over the years, involving like reaching in to the guitar body and knocking them out with some sort of object. So yeah, this just makes the job far more easier. And this particular one is again by D'Addario. I will leave links to all of the products that I've spoken about today in the comments or in the description, either one. Another thing that's really helped me out over the years and made playing much easier and more fun, I would say, is string lubricant. Sorry, let me try that again. String lubricant. Personally, I like my strings to feel very slippy and quite fast. I can absolutely not stand it when I feel like I'm getting stuck on my strings. Maybe if they've been sat on my guitar for a couple of weeks and they're maybe losing their, outer coating, they're not quite as flashy as they were when I first restringed my guitar, but they're also not at a point where I need to restring yet. They're kind of in that middle part where they're not new, but they're not old, They're kind of like, they're middle-aged. This is when string lubricant is an absolute lifesaver. It prolongs the life of your strings, it cleans them, and after you've had like a long session playing guitar, it's really great to use this because then you clean them off and there's a lot less chance of them rusting or getting really gammy. So definitely string lubricant is something that I use a lot. This particular one is the D'Addario XLR8 string lubricant and cleaner. I can also recommend checking out Fast Fret. Okay, so another very, very essential thing for guitar players, and I cannot stress the importance of this one enough really, is strap locks. So strap locks, for those of you who haven't used them or don't know about them, they essentially just keep the strap on your guitar like far more secure than if you weren't to have them. So I can do that kind of thing and it won't come off. This is an absolute godsend, especially when you're playing live or standing up. Story time. The first day that I got my PRS Tremonti, my first PRS, I was so excited and I went home, this is me at age 12, and I was like, I want to put the strap on it and stand up and play. I want to try it, see how it feels and be a rock star. Yeah, so I did that, and 3 seconds later I dropped my brand new guitar on the floor because I didn't have strap locks. And I dented the fret and, then spent another 6 months where I couldn't afford to get a tech to look at it to level out the fret again. And it was just sad, and it could have completely been avoided if I would have just waited for my strap locks to turn up. So I've learned that lesson for all of us, and hopefully none of you will have to experience that as well because it was a bit lame. You can get loads of different types of strap locks. You can also get like the rubber ring ones, which are the ones that I started out with when I was a kid. They're like, you could probably find them anywhere. I think they're super cheap on Amazon. I don't recommend them nearly as much as I recommend like the locking metal ones. So these particular ones are by Schaller. I've used these like quite a lot for many years and I can vouch for them. However, because you have to screw them on with a nut and bolt, it does unwind itself sometimes. I've had that happen before, which is quite annoying, but for the most part they're pretty reliable. And then we have the strap blocks by Dunlop. So they very, very kindly sent me these ones out pretty recently actually. I haven't had a chance to change the bit on my guitar where it locks into, but I'm very, very excited to try these, and I've heard incredible things about these, and I remember my brother used to use them when we were kids, and they never, ever, ever came unlocked. And with that you can swing your guitar round your head, be a proper rock star. Alrighty, another one, this thing here. So this is the Planet Waves D'Addario Very Grip, and this is a really old one. I think I've had this probably for about 10 years now. They do make newer versions of this. Essentially it's the same thing, and what this is a like hand stretcher, so or a finger strengthener, either way you kind of want to look at it. So this is a really great tool to individually strengthen your fingers. You can do them together like that. You can adjust the different strengths, stuff like that, and then also, I'm not sure about the new versions, but my one, you can reverse it, and then it has this like imitation of guitar strings. So essentially this is really great because then it helps you to build up and keep your callus. So if you're somebody who travels a lot, or say you are a touring musician, but you're in a tour bus and you, for whatever reason, don't have a guitar to hand, if you want to warm up a little bit, or if you want to just kind of strengthen your fingers, this is a really great product for that. I remember being in secondary school and I had this in my bag like at all times. So in lessons and stuff like that, I would be sat there with one hand like doing my guitar finger strengthening exercises, and in the other I would be doing my schoolwork at the same time. So yeah, just really great for any scenario when you can't get to your guitar, but you want to warm up, or you know, work on your finger strength or develop your callus. So yeah, this is a fun little tool, and just like a good thing to have around. Okay, so another must-have. This is more for the people who have guitar fretboards with darker woods. This is a little bit more awkward for those who use like maple fretboards, and you shouldn't use this on them. So that's just a disclaimer before I show you this product. If you have a maple fretboard, this is not for you. Don't use it, it's not good for you. So if you do have a fretboard with dark wood on it, such as rosewood, this product is really, 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 really great. So this is the D'Addario Hydrate Fingerboard Conditioner. And now if you are someone, okay, right, well, we all should be doing this, to be honest with you. Whenever you take your strings off, you need to be cleaning your fretboard for a couple of reasons. Number one, that schnit's gonna be gross. You know, think about all the sweat and the grime that comes off of your fingers and the skin and stuff. Like, I've seen some pretty hideous looking fretboards in my day that obviously aren't cleaned at all often, and they just look gross. And the other big reason is to keep your wood nice and hydrated. This is just a really great practice to get into every single time that you change your strings, and also it just feels so much nicer to play once you go back to it and your fretboard is lovely and clean. A real game changer, metronome app. This one is good. You can use whatever metronome app you want. This one is literally called Metro Timer. You might have heard me bang on about metronomes in the past, but playing guitar and practicing with a metronome has been one of the most beneficial things for my guitar playing over the years, and has made the biggest difference ever. So installing that as an app on your phone, like yeah, it's there. You're gonna use it. If you want to go a little bit more fancy, then you could actually buy a metronome. I don't have one. Maybe I should ask Santa Claus for one this year. Okay, coming towards the end of our list. Decent guitar strings. This is something that is so overlooked, and again, very similar to the guitar pick side of things. This comes 100% down to your own personal preference, but it is such an important thing. It took me a little while to figure out what strings I'd like to use, I guess. I think I settled on D'Addario by the time I was like 12. I wasn't using these particular ones, I was using the XL guitar strings, and I used them for like 7 years. It wasn't until I became a D'Addario artist that they said, have you tried NYXL? And then they sent some out for me to try, and I haven't looked back. So NYXL and the XT range are my favourite ones to use. Before that I was using Ernie Ball Super Slinky, gauge 8 or 9. It was, you know, I was a kid. I was using very, very light strings at that point. But for me, I used to snap Ernie Ball all the time, and you know, I just got sick of that, so I moved on to D'Addario and personally never looked back. As far as strings are concerned, it is 100% your choice what you want to use. Obviously, I'm going to highly recommend these, as I've been using these for literally, I'm 22, I started using them when I was 12, so 10 years I've been playing these. Above all, I would just really suggest not cheaping out. Like, go for the brands that everybody plays, because they play them for a reason, so, you know. Okay, well, we've reached the end of our list. I feel like we went through that really, really quickly. This is not, I wouldn't say it's absolutely essential for literally everybody. It's the same as far as all of these items are concerned. Like, you should use what you like and what you're comfortable with, but those are the things that I've been using that have made my life much easier over the years. But this final one is a power supply. So this is a little bit of a weird one, and this is actually really, really old. I took it from my brother when I was a kid, and kind of just never gave it back. Sorry, Chris. But if you are somebody who likes to use guitar pedals, this is so much easier to have than constantly having to keep track of different batteries all the time. Like, you might have like 4 pedals, and you might have changed the batteries in each of them at a different point in time. So you never know which one is going to die first. And also, once the batteries start dying, the pedals become a lot more kind of unreliable, and some weird stuff might start to happen. So save yourself the hassle, get yourself a power supply. So this is just like a daisy chain power supply. They probably don't even make it anymore. I don't. Effectpowersupplies.com. Yeah, I have no idea if that's still a thing, but this has lasted many, many years. So those are 10 things that I've been using over the years that have absolutely changed the game for me. And made my life so much easier. Those are the exact products that I've used. Like I said before, this was not sponsored. I do endorse these products, but it is not biased because I'm endorsed by them. I would never do that. I always want to be 100% honest with you guys, and I will always speak my heart about what I think about product. And it's all very genuine. I love all of these products and I find them super helpful. So I hope that you found out something new, and maybe thought about something new that you hadn't considered before maybe. Or maybe you too have got something to add to your Christmas list, and Santa might bring you something from that list. I would like to say a huge thank you to today's video sponsor, which was Skillshare. I've partnered with Skillshare on quite a few of my videos now, so some of you are probably already experts on this, but for those of you who don't know, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of super interesting classes for creative people to explore their passions, develop new skills, and really get stuck into their creative side. Skillshare offer creative classes designed for real life and all of the circumstances that come with it. These classes can help you to stay inspired, express yourself, and introduce you to a community of millions. The wonderful thing about Skillshare is that they have something for literally everybody. They have classes on such a wide variety of topics, so it ranges from guitar lessons, music theory lessons, music production, over to baking, health and wellness, productivity, lifestyle, graphic design, art, illustration, you name it, they probs have a class on it. They have classes on literally everything that you could imagine. A class that I've been checking out recently is Real Productivity, How to Build Habits That Last by Thomas Frank. Now, if you're a musician or if you work out, those are the two that I can think about that relate to me the most, you'll know that it takes really making a habit of playing music or going to the gym to make sure that it's present in your everyday routine. So this class helps you to identify what your long-term goals are, how you can break those down into bite-sized chunks that you can kind of manage and start working towards those long-term goals, and then also how you can make a habit out of them so that you stick to them. So be sure to check that one out. There are absolutely no ads on Skillshare as it's specifically curated for learning, so no annoying interruptions to your videos like this. The first 1,000 people to click the link in the top line of my description will get a free 1-month trial of Skillshare membership, and I really hope that you enjoy the classes. If you enjoyed watching this video and you'd like to see more from me, please hit like, drop me a comment down below and subscribe. I always love hearing what you think, and I would actually love to do some more sat down chatty videos like this, so let me know what you guys want to see. If they're just unboxings, like anything, I just want to chat. Anyway, that's all for this video, and I will catch you in the next one. I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you later.